Welcome, everyone. Happy Friday. We have more and more people come in. Happy Friday. Hi, Valerie. Good to see you. We have more coming in. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. Hey, welcome. Join us. So if you can, it would be wonderful if while everyone is coming into the room, if you could type in on a scale from 1 to 10, how you're feeling today, right now. Okay, I want to rate your energy. So if you could just put in the chat 1 to 10, how are you feeling right now? Okay, and we're so happy to see all of you. We're letting more people in. Okay, and then soon I'm going to be making my assistant Jarrell the host, so he can let people in. We have some more people let in as well. So welcome, everyone. So put in the chat how you're feeling this morning on a scale from 1 to 10. And then also another fun fact is if you can put in where you are watching this from. Where are you watching this from? We'd like to know. Welcome, everyone, as you're coming in and joining us. Two things.
I just love that we can do this like around the world.
Yes.
I remember the days when this isn't possible. So Yep.
Yeah, it is. We've got, well, Jarrell is in the Philippines, so that's amazing. And yeah, so everyone, as you're joining us, if you can put in the chat on a scale from 1 to 10, how are you feeling today, right now, at this moment? And then where are you joining us from? If you can put the city, the country that you're in, city, state, whatever is relevant for you, that would be wonderful. Okay. That's terrific. And we hope everyone, and then another thing too is if you're not on mute, if you can make sure you put yourself on mute, because we want to minimize any background noise. We would appreciate that. Okay. So again, make sure you've done your homework. In the chat, put where you're watching from and how you're feeling this morning. Okay, wonderful. I see someone from New Jersey. That's great. Fabulous. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing my screen in a minute so we can get our presentation started. And then
I should say hello, by the way, while we're here, that I'm Elizabeth Bachman. I'm the co-presenter here as a guest on Christine's system. And we started talking about this back in October, I think. It's like, do you think we could do something together? So we're figuring it out. Thank God for Jarrell, who's doing the back of the house thing. We're going to try doing this on LinkedIn Live, both of us. Bear with us if we have a bump here and there.
Yes, exactly. We might have a few bumps because just so you know, everyone, I have a confession to make. I have used PowerPoint. I have experience with PowerPoint, and I am rusty with PowerPoint because all my presentations that I've done in the last like 2-3 years have mainly been on Canva. So if I'm a little rusty here, cut me some slack. I would appreciate it. So just wanted to put that out there for everybody.
Whereas I do webinars all the time internationally, and I'm usually using PowerPoint. So don't help me to use, don't ask me to try to do Canva. I have not figured that one out, but we are doing PowerPoint today. But this is the first time in a long time. Actually, this is my first virtual joint event. I used to do joint events live all the time, but we'll figure it out.
Yes, we'll definitely figure it out. So yeah. So, and then we still have some more people coming into the room. So that's great. As you are entering the room, we need you to rate on a scale from 1 to 10 how you're feeling right now. And then also too, if you could let us know where you're watching this from, that would be great. And then also too, please be sure to put yourself on mute. I'm hearing some background noise. So definitely be sure to put yourself on mute. That would be great. Okay, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and try to do this screen share. We'll see how that goes. I am still hearing some background noise, so please put yourself on mute. All right, awesome. Okay, and then Let us see if I can actually make Jarrell co-host, or the host, just so he can help me in making sure people can get in. We don't want anyone to be stuck in the waiting room. Has anyone ever been stuck in the waiting room? I've been. Like, you're banished in the waiting room, and it's not a fun thing. You're just like, come on, please let me in. Okay, so Jarrell, you are the host now. Okay, so you've got the power. All right, cool. All right, wonderful.
Does that mean Jarrell has to advance the slides then?
I don't think so, because he doesn't have any slides to advance. Let's see how I can do it.
Okay, great.
Okay, I did it. So,
Okay.
so let's get started because it's time. All right. So why have you all showed up today? Why are you here? All right. What we'd like you to do. Oh, and Lisa, I'm not sure if my friend Lisa is in here yet, because Lisa was going to be helping me with the chat. So, Lisa, are you in here? Because if you are, you can unmute yourself and say hello. She may not be here yet. So, so anyway, maybe Jarrell.
Christine, I'm not seeing the slides.
Oh, you're not.
This.
Oh,
Yes.
maybe I didn't do my share. That's not good. Let me do that then. Hold on. Here.
Hi, Christine. Lisa is watching through LinkedIn Live.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, for some reason, I don't know why my share. Let me just try it again. If it doesn't work one time, just try it again. Sharing is not, oh, I know. I think it's because, Jarrell, you have to.
Yeah,
I
I
just gave
enabled it
myself
already.
permission. So you enabled it? Okay. All right, great. So now let's try this again. Give me just a second, everyone. Here we go. So we should be okay from here. So let me try this now. Okay, so share. Here we go. All right. Okay, so let's try again. Take two. All right, so what we'd like you to do is in the chat, just drop a number, just a number that applies to you on why you showed up today. Because we know there are many of you who are in transition, but you're not clear on what you're looking for, okay? You know you definitely want something, but you're just not clear on it. And then there's others who you are very clear, you feel very clear on it, but you don't know what you need to talk about in order to get interviews for that type of role and to get hired for that role. It's like, what do I need to highlight in my background? The third option is you've just been doing this all by yourself and you really need help because you're not getting to where you want to go. You're putting a lot of time and energy, and I've been posting a lot about this too. When you are doing a job search, and especially when you're unemployed, you're costing yourself money and time and all of that. So, so you're really trying to get some help here. And then number 4 is for all other reasons. So if you could put that in the chat, we would appreciate it because we want to make sure we're getting a read on everyone's situation. And Jarrell, can you tell me what numbers you're seeing in the chat right now from people? Like, what are they reporting?
We have
This meeting is being recorded.
2, 4, 3 from Ravi, 2 from Andy, Rick Adams says 4, Aaron White says 2.
Okay.
Valerie says 4. Yeah.
Okay, great. Awesome. Cool. All right, wonderful. Okay, well, thank you for giving us that report. And please, if you haven't dropped your number in, go right ahead and do that in the chat. Okay, so, all right. Awesome. Okay, so you might be wondering, who is this person that's doing this?
Well, this is where it's my turn.
Oh,
Christine,
yeah.
I think
I'm so used to introducing myself, so I
know. So
I love it.
This is why I get to brag about my friend Christine, and this is why we wanted to do this together. Christine, I'm just going to, when time comes, I'm just going to say next for the slides because I think you're going to have to do this. So anyway, she is an executive career and mindset coach. I've known her for quite some time and really impressed by all the stuff that she does. She focuses on revenue producing leaders. She is a sought after speaker and strategist. I love this because I consult with her for things. She also has over 26,000 LinkedIn followers and over 25,000 connections and hundreds of happy clients. Next.
And now it's my turn to speak. Yay. And I get to introduce Elizabeth. So, and as she said, we've known each other for a good amount of time now. Elizabeth has a super cool background that I just love telling other people, including this 30 years of directing opera around the world. Elizabeth speaks several languages and just, 11 years running an opera company, and then also using that background to train business presenters, because those are valuable skills that we need in business when we are making presentations. So, and really coaching through that lens of presentation skills, but presentation skills that land.
Next.
Oh, and also too, we should mention her visible and valued mastermind. That's really important as well. Okay, wonderful, cool. All right, and then this is Elizabeth's motto. I wanted to stress this too, and this is the key, because there's a lot of communication and presentation coaches that are out there. But what I personally love about Elizabeth's focus is her motto is shift how you're perceived by shifting how you communicate. Okay, so really, what can you control? How you communicate, and that will impact how others perceive you. So I just love that. That lands so much. It makes a lot of sense. Okay.
So let me tell you what our intentions are today. Click. We want to tell you the 3 big mistakes that we both see, because in terms as a presentation skills trainer, I work with job seekers a lot. And, so we see a lot of the same 3 mistakes. Also, why stories really matter. Click. The resume trap. That's one of Christine's things, and she's going to tell you all about it. Why a resume is maybe not necessarily the most important thing. And as a special bonus, we're going to show you how to be confident and compelling when you walk into that interview. And I have to say, in the last 3 weeks, I've had 4 different people say, I just had an interview and I totally blew it because I was nervous and I talked too much and all of that. So there's a solution, and we're going to give you that as a bonus. So be sure to stay till the end and make sure that you stay till the end to get this extra bonus.
Everybody can use this bonus. I'm super excited for that. We all need this bonus, so it's going to be super valuable.
And next, and we both do long-term work with people, so we've only got a little under 90 minutes today. We're going to give you as much as we possibly can in the time that we have. We're hoping to end in time for people to ask us questions. And we also promise that we're going to tell you how you can actually apply this information and really get it done from all the things that you're going to learn today. So that is our promise to you before we go further. Okay. Christine, over to you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth. So we've got, again, the whole thing and our whole focus is to really talk about the 3 biggest mistakes. Okay. And I get to kick it off with not being clear on your brand. So, because this is the foundation, this needs to be the foundation when you are doing a job search. Okay. When you are looking for that next role, it should be the foundation of your career. And so often it isn't. And that can be a big mistake. We're also going to talk about, don't worry, you are going to get all 3. So, but we're going to continue to talk about those. Okay, so spaghetti. Spaghetti is not a strategy. And I see this happening all the time. People don't have a set strategy to follow. You're doing it yourself. You're trying to figure it all out on your own. And you really don't have a strategy. You don't have a plan. And you need that in order to get to where you want to go. So if you feel like you don't have a strategy, you are in the right place being here right now. And so this is what a strategy feels like and looks like. I mean, don't you feel better just from looking at the slide? I know I do, because it's like having a clear path that comes from who you are and where you want to go. That's the key. You have to be clear on who you are and where are you going, right? If you just start taking action, like just jumping into your resume and making changes, it's not going to be aligned. So, and when you have a proven strategy to rely upon, when you have a proven plan, that allows you to take action. And that also helps to make sure that your action is going to move you closer to where you want to go. You're going to get the results that you want quickly. And what I include in that strategy and that plan is things such as templates and scripts. It's a plan where you know exactly what to do. This is my favorite quote. I love this quote. This is probably the foundation of my work. It's because I want you to be you. I don't want you to pretend to be someone else. If you are trying to land a CMO role or an operations manager role, whatever it is, okay, you have to be you in that role. And what is it that you have that will make you successful in that role? Because typically you will have skills that will allow you to be successful in that. But just really getting clear on that, where the intersection is. All right, so now I have some questions I need you to answer. Okay, so I want everyone to be focused. And my first question for you is, I want you to rate your clarity in your brand right now, okay, on a scale from 1 to 10. Okay, so, and I want you to put this in the chat. So if you can just put your number on a scale from 1 to 10, where do you rate yourself in your clarity in your brand? So often people ask me, well, Christine, what do you mean by that question? It's like, how clearly can you articulate it? If a stranger were to walk up to you and say, what's your brand? Describe your brand to me. What would you say? How would you describe it to them? So how clear are you on that? Right? So that's the first question. Okay, the second question is, how do you want to use your brand? Okay, how do you want to use your brand? All right. And rate that on a scale from 1 to 10. That's that next role that you're working toward. Okay, so on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd like you to put that number in the chat too. Okay. And Jarrell, you can, when I ask you, you can just like give me, like, yell out some numbers. You don't have to tell me who is a 10 or who's a 9 or whatever. You can just shout out some numbers to me when I ask you. And the third thing is to reflect on where your LinkedIn profile right now is and your resume and all those other things that you use to convey your brand. How clear are those on a scale from 1 to 10? Okay. So it's 3 numbers ideally. If you could give me your 3 numbers, just like dump them in the chat. Okay. And because it's really important for you to do that check-in with yourself right now on how clear you are in your brand, how you want to use it, which again is that role that you're working toward. And then number 3 is, I call them your portfolio documents. And remember, your LinkedIn profile, as part of that, is your digital presence. Okay. So Jarrell, just shout out some numbers to me. Like, what are you seeing dropping in the chat right now from people? What are some of the numbers? Oops.
Okay, so we have 2,
Go ahead.
okay, so we have 2, we have 7, we have 8, we have 2, we also have 6, we also have 8, 6, 7, we have 9, 10 on LinkedIn. We have 8, 9, we have 10, we have 8, 6, we have 3, we have 3, 5, 5, we have 8, 9.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I just wanted to get a feel for that because I don't want to take off from the presentation, but yeah, so kind of all over the board. And we want these numbers to be as close to a 10 as possible. That is really critical. So I want you to start thinking about, okay, what can I do to move these numbers to as close to a 10 as possible? What can I do to raise my clarity in my brand, my clarity in that next role for me, and then to make my documents and especially my digital presence on LinkedIn, how can I make those all stronger so they're as close to a 10 as possible? All right, next. Oh yes, and I have to talk. I still need to talk because this is one of my clients. This is one of my examples. So Eric is a client. He provided a wonderful video testimonial for me. That is on I believe I have it on my website or one of my landing pages, and some of you might have seen it already. But Eric came to me and he was getting interviews, but he wasn't getting any offers. And many other people have had to deal with that too. You spend all this time and energy doing interviews and you're not getting that next role. So we started working together and really helping him to get clear on his brand, because if you're not clear on your brand, how is that next employer supposed to be clear on it? And that's what's going to make them hire you versus all the other people that they talk to. And remember, there's just so many people out there right now. So we need you to do everything you can to stand out and differentiate yourself. So that's what Eric and I worked on. And yeah, he's still in his role. He's enjoying it very much. He's making a huge impact there. So it's great. So yeah. All right. So now
this is my turn.
Yes.
Here's what happens over and over. And Christine, will you just click one more time so we see the one? There's nothing there yet. That's coming. So when you tell the stories about yourself, the thing that happens over and over again is to talk about how you've done something instead of why it matters. And so someone hears all the details of how I put together that marketing campaign, or how I designed that piece of software, or how I built that, how I built that thing, without saying why it matters. What's the impact that you made? And we all do it. That's the thing. I mean, I often call this one the expert trap. It's so we know it all, but the person you're talking to, the hiring manager, for instance, doesn't necessarily. So you have to get their attention to talk about why it matters. And you also have to be able to talk about it in a compelling manner rather than going on and on and on or losing track, etc. So next slide, please. My solution to this is what I call strategic empathy. Put yourself in the shoes of your listeners before you walk in. When you have your stories and you're going to talk about who you are and what you're good at, what is it that they care about? And another thing about putting yourself is like, what is it like to be the hiring manager who's doing all these interviews? Last night, I had a conversation at dinner with a colleague who is currently interviewing for positions in his department. And he said, the thing is, there's a form that says, can you do all of this? Rate yourself on these skills. And everybody says 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Well, you know that most of them are lying. And so they have added an extra question to say, tell us how you solved a problem with this particular skill, because they got tired of people showing up not knowing it. Now, imagine you're the hiring manager and you've got 8 out of 10 of the people who show up who say, oh yes, I'm perfect at this and I'm perfect at that and I'm really fast and so forth and so on. And you're expecting them all to be lying. This actually might be a reason why a hiring manager has been a little resistant or hostile when you've talked to them. Bear in mind that, half the people there, 80% of the people they're talking to have lied to them. So how do you make it interesting? And the other part of this is, what are they looking for? So I think it's time. Let's go to the next slide here. You really want to have several stories at hand. Click once. So what's the problem that they need to solve? When they posted this job description, and granted, every job description is all the things that would be nice. Nobody ever expects you to have all of them. So don't worry, don't hesitate, because you can do 70 of them, but not the other 30 that they're asking for. What makes you interesting, and what problem can you solve for them? That's very important. Again, putting yourself in their shoes. Then have a story. Prepare some stories, because you've done your research, we hope, and you know what they're going to talk about. So then you bring the concise, powerful stories of impact that you've made, what you have done with to solve this kind of problem. They might not, and here's the thing, practice it in advance. This is what's so important. They might not ask those questions. So it's like the arrows in the quiver here. You want to have lots of different arrows at hand, so that when they ask the question, you can tell the appropriate story. You might not need it, but you have it ready. That shows that you've done your homework. And then click to the next one. They're probably going to ask you about a time that you screwed up. Sometimes they don't, but most of the time they'll ask you about, what are your weaknesses? What are the things you're not so great at? The temptation often is to say, oh God, there was that time where I totally screwed up and I made such a mistake. And you go on and on about how you made such this terrible mistake. That's painting you as someone who makes a mistake. That's what they're going to remember. So I would always prepare talking about the things that you're maybe not so great at, but how you learned a lesson way early on in your career. So you can choose whatever story you want to tell. One of the ones that I posted on LinkedIn last week is, I was raised not to ask directly, that it was impolite to ask directly, but to do hints. And so when I was then leading a team and actually running a company, I would say, gee, it would be great if someone did da 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 da. And I was confusing my team. This was way back at the beginning. And one of my assistants said, just tell us, it's okay. We're not going to be mad if you just ask. I had to get past my early programming to do that. So that's a mistake. That's one thing that I will say, is that I have then learned how to give clear, precise instructions, because it's easier for everybody. But I didn't know that till I'd screwed up. Something like that. Think about that story. If I were actually in an interview, I would have practiced it, so that would have flowed a little more easily. And the other thing is, practice it with a coach, with a trainer, because we are all too close to our own stories. It's so much easier to have somebody else. If you don't have a coach, have a friend help you. Practice saying them out loud, so that muscle memory helps you get through. Practice, speaking is a physical act. You've got to train your lips and tongue to make the sounds and to tell the story clearly. So practice it out loud with somebody, so that when you're on the spot, muscle memory can help you through that. Next slide, please. This is my client, Brad, and I was working with him with his team, and he was trying to get onto a different team at his company, and he was full of ideas. This was Brad. He had like 100 solutions to every possible problem they had, and it was so much that it was overwhelming, and you lost the point. So we worked together to kind of rein him in and have him not bury them in details, but to give them stories that mattered. And click, please. He got the job, and he actually got a $30,000 raise. So this is Brad Sherrill at Gilead Sciences, and I'm so proud of him. And now he's actually, since that happened, he's had another raise and he's now a managing director in his team. So this is a very good thing. Next, Christine.
So we did, yeah. So we've already tackled being clear on your brand, how that can really help hurt you when you're not clear on your brand. And Elizabeth was awesome talking about too much how and not enough why. And now I'm back on talking about resume instead of relationships. So yeah, because, and I was alluding to it earlier, I feel like too many people jump into their resume. Like, what's the first thing that most people do when they make the decision, I'm going to change roles, I want to find my next position? They jump right into their resume and they start making revisions. And to me, that's not the place to start, because number one, the resume is going to be obsolete soon. I'm not saying it's going to go away tomorrow, but it's on its way out. Why is that? Well, I think AI has helped people to generate all these resumes that really don't clearly represent their backgrounds. And employers are saying that. They're reporting that they're receiving all of these resumes that really don't tell them about the actual person. So they are on the way out. They absolutely are. So you need to stop spending your time and energy doing your resume 25 times. And I know many people have done that. So this is another thing with the chat now. So I'm just curious if anyone, if you're willing to admit it, if you've redone your resume too many times, okay? Because we've all done that. We've all made that mistake. I think, Elizabeth, when we were talking about this, you were saying you had made that mistake too. So, so if you can just put a yes or no, you don't have to put the number of times, but if you were one of the few who has not made that mistake, kudos to you, tip my hat to you. But that sucks up a lot of your time and your energy. And in today's process, when I'm a hiring manager and I have a role that I need to fill, the resume isn't the first part. It's not the front part of the process. So that's something to consider as well. And also too, again, Elizabeth had that awesome slide about putting yourself in other people's shoes. And often we need to do that. So if you put yourself in the hiring manager's shoes, that's who you need to be focused on to land your next role. When you put yourself in their shoes, if you have to fill a position, then are you going to prefer to have all these like 100 resumes to go through from a LinkedIn job posting? Or would you prefer to talk with 5 candidates that were referred to you through your connections, because you had asked your connections, you had said, I have this opening, I really need to fill it. These are the skills I'm looking for. Who do you know? Who can you refer to me? And you get these referrals. That's the hidden job market. Nobody wants to be inundated with thousands of applicants. I mean, that's overwhelming. You're going to be buried. And this is why you want to tap into the hidden job market with your LinkedIn profile, because LinkedIn is a huge search engine. We often forget that, and we need to maximize that. That's how you can tap into the hidden job market, through LinkedIn.
Christine, we've got some interesting questions. And so I'm going to ask those in the chat. Jarell is going to keep track of your questions so that we can answer them afterwards, rather than stopping the whole presentation at this point. But we've got some really good questions that we can address once we're done.
Yes, yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. And I also wanted to reference something really quickly. LinkedIn is very different now. LinkedIn has changed throughout the years. I got on LinkedIn in the Stone Ages, okay, because I was in the world of HR. I think a lot of us HR folks, we like LinkedIn. It's been good. And this is how we found candidates too. Employers pay $10,000 for a recruiter seat, okay, so that way their recruiter can access all these people, okay? People that are in the job market and then people who may not be active, but if they find out about the right opportunity, they could be interested. But it's changed because now LinkedIn has 1.1 billion people on the platform. And many of those profiles are fake, okay? So LinkedIn needs to care about that, and they need people. So in order to be seen on LinkedIn, you have to do more. You definitely have to pay attention to your profile, but you have to do even more. And that's what I work on with my clients too. And you have to use it more than a job board. That's why I'm saying this. It's not a job board. So stop treating it just like a job board because it is so much more, and relationships are the key. And for a winning LinkedIn headline, you really need to be focused. Out of all the text that's on your profile, your headline is the most important. People see the front part of it in their scroll too when you pop up in their feed. So you really need to pay attention and have a hook in your headline. What is your hook? Okay. And when you are in transition mode, when you are looking for that next position, you should start off with what is that role that you're looking for, okay? So if it's a CMO or a VP of marketing or a VP of sales, whatever it could be, account executive, you need to start with that, what you're targeting, okay? So that is critical. You need to have that hook so people get you from the get-go, okay? And then your entire headline, you need to make sure that you're having the right keywords that are search engine optimized. And you also want to reflect, some of you, like when I'm working with my clients on their headline, I do want you to have something personal about you too in your headline, like near the end, because you are a human being. And I always enjoyed that as a recruiter. And like another one of my clients, Melissa, at the company she landed, the recruiters found her on LinkedIn and really liked her headline, stood out to her, and she made a comment to her. So it just helped her to be sticky and memorable, and it hooked her. Okay.
So now we get to talk about how you can be confident and compelling in your interview. But next slide.
Yes.
But first, next slide. Here's the question that we promised you could tell you how you could get more before we finished. You look at all these projects and papers I haven't started. Just write in the chat if any of you have listened to a really cool webinar like this one and said, oh, I'm going to do all of that. And then real life took over and you never actually followed up. Just put me in the chat if you are somebody who had great ideas and didn't actually get around it. And I have to tell you, that's me. This is the story of my life. So this is one of my very favorite images because just all those things I can't get around to. So next slide. Christine and I have put together a Get It Done session. We're calling it Brand, Story, and Impact, how to communicate your value and land your next role. And this is a hands-on session so that you can apply storytelling, branding, and strategic networking for career success. And Jarell, can you please put the sign-up link in the chat while we're talking about it? This is going to be an opportunity for you to apply all the lessons that we're giving you and all this information from this particular from this webinar. So Christine, next slide.
And we'll be working with you. We will be working with you. Yeah, because that's the thing. I mean, I've been guilty of this too. I can't tell you how many books I've purchased and how many trainings I've purchased and how many podcasts, all the things. I've done all those things. And I didn't take action on them. So it's important to not just be absorbing content, but also to take action. So in this get it done session, we're working with you to get it done. All right. So we're not saying, okay, you're off on your own. I mean, after today, definitely do whatever you can on your own, but come back and do this. So you've got skin in the game, you're on the hook, and you're working with us to get it done. So you're getting clear on your brand clarity. So you get those numbers closer to a 10. And then also helping you to come up with your best company list, okay? Because that's going to get that 4 that you might have given yourself on that next ideal role, like how you want to use your brand, move it up a couple notches or maybe even more, okay? And then with your best story formula, Elizabeth would be helping you with that, and I would be tweaking too. And then personal feedback as well. We all need feedback. And then your delivery style, how are you getting your message across?
This is what I, of course, spent 30 years doing with the opera singers, is helping you deliver your material as a concise and confident presenter.
Yes. And LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is always changing, always changing. There's always something new. So I can give you my latest LinkedIn tips, trying to give you everything I can today. But of course, as we know, we only have 90 minutes. So this is our way of continuing the momentum and really helping you to make even more progress. So, okay, let me move to the next slide here. Okay, so this is the day that we have set, Saturday, March 8th. It's a 3-hour virtual class, of course, with breaks, okay? And you're getting personal training from us. And also, too, it's in a group setting. So you're going to get feedback from your peers and a community supporting you, because when you're doing it with other people, we're greater when we're in a group versus all by ourselves. That energy, really, we have to give that energy credit, because that energy makes a huge difference. I mean, even just with me collaborating on this with Elizabeth, this is so much better than, I love doing my own trainings, but this has been wonderful. So, and you'll be able to get it done. Get it done. That's such a wonderful feeling. So yeah.
So how do you know if this is for you? So the brand story impact session is for you if you are tired of useless interviews, tired of going to interviews for places that you aren't really the next person, or you give your all and they don't want you, or whatever it is. They're looking for apples and you're an orange, whatever it is. It's for you if you want to know exactly where to go. This is the company list that Christine was talking about. And to know exactly what to say. They're both, Christine and I will help you with this one, exactly what to say. And really, this is for you and your power. If you're ready to step into your power, next, if you're tired of doing it alone, I've been out of work a lot in my life, and it's a lonely time. So this is where you're going to get help.
Yeah, it's very lonely. It's very isolating. That's one of the awful things about transitioning to your next role, but you don't have to be alone.
Yeah. And, but it's not for everybody. So it's not for you if you're okay hiding behind your computer, because, this is going to take some courage. Even if you're out of work, you can spend a lot of time being busy without being productive. So this is a way to shift that. It's okay if you're okay with watching people get the jobs that should have been yours, or if you're not in a rush because you've already got a job and you're thinking you might do that at some point. Next, it's also not for you if you want instant results. So we're going to give you, again, in the brand story intensive, you're not. it doesn't happen everything over it. You'll get a huge chunk done, but it won't be everything. So if you're unwilling to stretch, if you're okay where you are, that's okay. You can do that. But if none of this feels right for you, if this feels like something you don't want to be, then come and join us on March 8th.
Okay. And then this is what we're offering this for. This is the investment. It's really, we've packed in a lot for it. So, and we're really excited to be offering this to you. And we do have a special bonus, even though it says $397 on the slide. For today until midnight. So until midnight CST, we'll give you $100 off. So it'll be $297, not $397. So
you could find that on the link that's in the chat or by scanning the QR code. And I would this little 1,500 that's up here. It's because for someone at my level, 500 an hour. So 3 hours with me normally would be 1,500, and someone at Christine's level also 500 an hour. So it's actually would be 3,000 to get the two of us together. We can afford to do this at such a low rate because it's a group program, and because we're going to try it out. If it works, we're going to do it regularly, and then it's going to be more expensive. But so this is the only time it's going to be at this price, this investment, let's say.
Yeah. All right, cool.
So the cure for nerves. Let me just talk to you a little bit about nerves. And this I've discovered when I was working with opera singers. Stage fright is a real thing, and I get it too. I understand this one. You think for a minute about if you're meeting somebody new, or if you've got a high stakes interview, or if you're giving a presentation, something like that, you get all the voices in your head that say, oh gosh, I'm going to forget what I want to say. They're going to think I'm stupid. They're going to think, you can talk yourself out of it even before you walk in the door, I have to say. And, but if you think for a minute, all those are voices in your head. These are the voices from your childhood that evolved to keep you safe when you were really little and, you were likely to put your hand on the hot stove. It's not for you as an adult. The truth is that hiring manager really wants you to be the best one. That hiring manager is going to say, really, she wants to stop. He wants to stop. They want to stop interviewing people. So they want you to be the best. They really want that. Make it about them. Here again, use strategic empathy to put yourself in their shoes and say, I'm the solution to your problem. And one of my favorite exercises for this, next slide, is just imagine for a minute that you've got a dinner party. So at home or at a restaurant, something you're hosting or you've cooked, and you've got all your favorite people there. Imagine inviting them into your space. So when you are there at that interview, it's actually your party. You're inviting them into your party. It might be in their office or on their computer, but it's your party. So imagine how happy you are to see your guests. And then once you really got that fixed in your head and in your heart, then imagine coming out of the kitchen to the table with a fabulous dessert that you've created and watching their eyes light up. This is you. You are the gift, because basically they need you. They need someone like you who can solve their problem. So they really want you to be the one. So you are the gift. You're the dessert. Imagine how happy they are to see you walk in. And a very quick story, I had a client named Sally who was helping with a small nonprofit in San Francisco, and had the opportunity to go to a very big law firm to ask for a sponsorship. And she was the kind of person who had really good things to say, but she was always messing up because she was terrified. And so we met in downtown San Francisco, and we met outside the building. And she said, "This is my building, my party." And I helped her through it. And then we walked into the lobby. I said, "What is this?" She said, "This is my lobby. This is my party." And it went on to my elevator, my 27th floor, my law office. And I couldn't go with her into the actual interview. But before she told me, before she walked in, she said, "This is my interview. I am bringing them the gift of their ability to make an impact by helping my nonprofit." She did that, and she got a $25,000 grant, which for that little nonprofit was a third of their annual income. So $25,000 because it was her party. And it was giving them the gift of making a difference in the world. So it works. So today we covered, just a quick review for you, the mistakes to avoid, which are, being unclear, not knowing how to, why the stories matter, and why you shouldn't spend all your time on the resume, but really cultivate your LinkedIn profile, because that's what people are noticing, and how to be confident in an interview. And granted, this is as much as we can possibly give you in this time. So we're really urging you to take the leap. Join us for the Get It Done Day, and join us for the Brand Story Impact session. Here's Christine's. Christine, you can tell us about your friend here.
Yes, I will. So yeah, and I just want to say, yeah, we really wanted to help you as much as possible in this 90 minutes and give you good things, but there's only so much that we can put into 90 minutes too. So, and again, I want to stress, especially with the resume trap, because I see that constantly and it drives me nuts. Yet people aren't even aware. Like hiring managers and recruiters, I did this. I Googled people all the time. And when you Google a candidate, it takes you to their LinkedIn profile right away. And that's your digital presence. And so many people, they're putting all this time and energy into their resume, and they're not even aware of their digital presence, or they just slough off their LinkedIn profile. And I can pull it up in seconds, and every hiring manager can do that. So I want to stress that to you too. So, and in working with Rebecca had that awareness. So, and she knew that I could help her with LinkedIn and managing it and just really nailing her brand, because being clear on that. So being clear on her brand, that's the foundation. And then putting together a plan, a customized plan for her, because her plan would be different than your plan or others. Okay. Your plan needs to work for you, connecting your unique one-of-a-kind brand to how you want to use it. Okay, so that's what we did, and the sessions that we did were tailored to that and really helping her to connect her brand with that next role. And then Sue is interesting because Sue is a sales executive, and she's not in transition. She wasn't looking for her next job. She's very happy, but she wasn't happy with her LinkedIn profile. She felt like her LinkedIn profile was not representing her well at all. And in doing her job, trying to get calls scheduled or meetings with these new connections that she was calling on, because she had an awesome solution for them that she wanted to let them know about and work with them and provide that to them. But if they didn't trust her, feel comfortable with her when they pulled up her LinkedIn profile, then why would they give her any time to talk with her? So, and she right away, as soon as we started working together and started making changes, she started to get unsolicited compliments on her LinkedIn profile. It was amazing from her target audience. So that was just great. It was wonderful to get that.
And this is the story of Mani, who is in the Bay Area. She's a senior facilities planner at the Stanford Medical School. And she was not getting any respect, basically. She was being, her boss didn't believe she knew what to do, wouldn't listen to her. And she was in charge of solving the logistics problems and the space problems within the medical school, where everybody wanted lab space, everybody wanted rooms for patients. They all wanted more and more and more, where they didn't but they didn't actually have the budget to do it. And she wasn't able to make decisions because they weren't listening to her. So we worked together. This wasn't actually a job interview. This was a raise your profile conversation about how she could tell the story of her problem solving skills so that they would actually do what she told them to do, because they would always say, make wild decisions, and they say, okay, Mani, you go implement them, when it wasn't realistic. So Mani is now, she's still at the Stanford Medical School, but she's actually getting paid what she deserves now, and she's being listened to.
So I want you to pause right now and think. I really want you to look at this and look at what you've been doing right now with your career. Are you really playing to win, or are you playing not to lose? Like, are you being more reactive? Okay. Because I want you, like, there are things that are outside of our control, correct? We can only control ourselves, and we can only control our actions. The inputs, I call that, and one of my coaches calls that the inputs, okay? I think we go wrong when we put all this focus into the outputs, what we can't control, okay? So if you can just focus on your inputs and really look at them and ask yourself, am I giving this everything I can? Am I taking care of myself? Because that's part of it too. You need to take care of yourself, not beat yourself up, and take action. Okay. Those are the things you need to do. That's what you need to do to play to win, versus being reactive and just playing not to lose, and just trying to control the outputs, which no one has control over the outputs. You might think at times that you have control over the outputs, but you really don't. We only have control over the inputs. So we need to be focused and put everything we can into our inputs and do our very best. Okay. And part of doing your very best is taking care of yourself, and also too, not expecting yourself to do it all on your own, because when you even reflect on the jobs that you've had in your career, how did you find those jobs? Most likely you found them through connections, through other people. So please don't be expecting yourself to do it on your own, because that's playing to not lose, and you want to play to win. And we have two options here. You can play not to win and do things the hard way, slow and frustrating. And it's good if you're a patient person, but it's also hard. You're making things a lot harder for yourself. And I don't want you to make things harder for yourself. Versus the other option is take new action. Now, new action is challenging, and typically it is outside your comfort zone. Okay. But that's how we grow, is stepping outside of our comfort zone. And this is also, the easy way is perfect for you if you're impatient like me and you're ready right now. So remember, we always have at least two choices. Okay. Always. I think sometimes when we're really stressed out and our nervous system is dysregulated, we think we only have one option, but we typically have at least two options, if not more. But really, I want you to be focused on the easy way. Things don't have to be hard.
So here we are. This is the end of the official part of the webinar, and we can answer questions. So Jarrell, I know we had questions on LinkedIn and we had questions in the chat. Can you give us some of those questions?
Okay, so we have question from Jessica here on Zoom. So she asks, but does that include tweaking a resume to make sure it aligns with a specific role?
So the question again is, should we do our resume so it aligns with a specific role? Is that what, did I hear that correctly?
She was answering the, have you worked on your resume over and over again?
Yes. Yeah.
Should I be more specific? It's Jessica.
Of course.
Yeah. So I guess the short answer is yes, I have redone my resume, but I have a resume, but then if say an employer after networking says, hey, I'd like to see your resume, we need to, put you into a process, I will tweak my resume to align with whatever job I'm going for. And so I just wanted a little bit of clarification around the redoing your resume over and over again versus the making sure you're tailoring your resume if you actually are going for a specific role.
And that's great, Jessica. I'm glad you're bringing that up. So thank you. Yeah, because there's AI tools out there now too that I am fine with you using to tailor to be specific for certain jobs. So yes, tailoring your resume, especially when you have a conversation with an employer, when you've made it to that point, because I'm talking about when you don't have any interviews and you're not making any traction and you're thinking, oh, I need to change my resume again and change it again. It's like there's something more there. That's not the issue. You need to be talking with people more. And it's not the answer if you've been sending all these applications and you're not getting any interviews. So because you can't hide behind your laptop. You have to be reaching out to the hiring managers. Essentially, one of my connections called it as like basically knocking down the hiring manager's door because they have 1,000 resumes. So you redoing your resume again for the 25th time is not the answer, but tailoring your resume, especially if it's part of your strategy. Maybe you have a 2-part strategy. There's 2 roles that you're going after. Then definitely you have a resume more tailored for option A and a resume more tailored for option B. So good question. Thank you. What's another question that we have?
We don't have question anymore. But on LinkedIn we don't have as well much questions. So yeah, unless they have.
I've actually seen some questions. So Corey Livingston said, when we were talking about too much how, not enough why, that in several interviews with executive recruiters and CEOs, they have focused so much on the how that she had to actually bring in the why. And the thing about too much how, not enough why is that it is a human tendency. So of course, the hiring manager and the recruiter, they're human. But emotionally, we will connect to the why. My favorite formula for a story is the problem, the solution, the benefit. And people forget the benefit. What's the problem that you solve? The solution is how you solve it. And the benefit is why does it matter? And that's where you're using strategic empathy to show something that they're going to relate to. So if you're talking about a finance role, you're going to talk about how it saved the company money or it made the company money. But if you're talking to a marketer, that might not be so interesting. So you would tell them about a different problem that you solved that actually got more reactions from the marketing campaign, things like that. And they, they're human too. So they might just go into the how, and then you can just add a story about why it mattered, subconsciously, they will connect to that.
Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth. Awesome. What other questions do we have? Feel free, because we didn't want to go over, we were watching the time very closely. We wanted to make sure that we were providing you guys with good information that you could take today and start taking action on. So if you can pick one thing to take action on it, I want to make sure that you're clear and that you make a promise to yourself that you're going to take action on it. So what is that one thing? And what other questions can we answer for you?
Jaya has a question.
Yes, go ahead, Jaya.
Hi, so this is regarding the March 8th session that you mentioned, and you gave all the details for it. So after attending, let's say the session you had mentioned, you will be mentioning about getting brand clarity, best companies, delivery style. You touched upon all these. So once that meeting is done, is that all the thing that you're going to be giving and letting us see how things play out in a couple of months and we come back, or what happens after attending that session?
Jaya, I can answer that one.
Okay.
So we will, obviously, this is an introduction for us because we're going to get to know you, and then you can decide, what do you need most? Do you need help with your stories? Then you can work with me. If you need help with your clarity first or your LinkedIn, you can work with Christine. You could even work with each of us, but we will each have offers. And actually, we forgot to post what the bonuses are, but now that you've signed up for this, you will get an email following up with the replay that also lists some of the bonuses of what you will get. And most of the time, I've done these sessions over and over, and most of the time I kind of fall in love with the people who are there, and those who want to then continue to work with me, then we go on. But we have a much better idea of what exactly you need at that point. So it depends on what we find out in the 3-hour session. Yes, of course, there's always an opportunity to follow up, to do more, and you'll be on our mailing list, fair warning, so that you'll be getting tips and tricks from each of us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, typically, when someone approaches me, looking for help, we talk, we have a detailed discussion. I ask a ton of questions because I want to understand your situation. I want to understand what you're working toward. I want to understand any challenges that you've encountered and what you've been doing. And then after I get that information, I can decide, can I help this person? And I'm not going to put together a strategy unless I'm 100% confident that I can help you, because I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. I'm all about really helping you to get from point A to point B as soon as possible. So.
And at this point, I'd like to ask those of you who are still on the call, would you please write into the chat, whether it's LinkedIn or Zoom, write into the chat something that surprised you today or something that you learned today. What would you tell somebody else about this program? Because if this works out, we're going to do this more time. So what would you tell somebody else about whether they should attend? And if you want to tell them not to attend, then tell us privately. But put something in the chat. What did you learn? Give us some quotable quotes here.
Yeah, we need your feedback because we want to make this as valuable to you as possible. Again, we have limited time. 90 minutes goes by like that. I mean, already we're only 20 minutes away until then. So yeah, any feedback that you can give us, like what is that one thing that you got from the time that we spent together that you found to be the most valuable. And of course, if there was anything that was surprising to you, something that was like an aha moment, a light bulb for you, we definitely want to know that. We totally want to know that. So
we're also listening and paying attention. So we want to know what worked and what didn't. But what would you tell somebody to join us on the next one?
yeah, yes.
Christine's saying the LinkedIn headline is the most important content piece. Do more on LinkedIn. Valerie said spend less time on the resume, more on LinkedIn. Jessica said do more in-person networking, not hiding behind my computer. Jessica, I hear you there. And keep practicing your star stories. Corey said, I would tell people to attend if they want to get clarity on their brand and how to tell their story on the spot. Thank you. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Think about your friends who are, think about other people you know who you get together and you say, why can't we get a job? What's the matter with it all? What would you tell them that was useful in the time that you spent with us?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah.
Jarrell, do we have any answers on LinkedIn here?
No, I'm not seeing any answers. I think we're having a latency on the live stream on LinkedIn. They are receiving the live stream late, but probably after this, once time aligns, then we can have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, and I have to say personally, I just love your tip about confidence because, even celebrities like Meryl Streep, I mean, with all her years of experience, she said that she still suffers from stage fright, and other famous stars, actors who have been on the stage. It still impacts you. So that exercise that you shared with us, Elizabeth, I just love it. I think it's just extremely helpful. So
here's another tip actually about that is you can be really good and confident when you're talking to people you don't know. If it's somebody you know and their opinion really matters, say you're interviewing at the place where your friend works, you're likely to get stage fright again. It just if their opinion really matters to you, that's going to kick that stage fright right back there. And it's remembering to detach and make it about them. You don't be surprised if that happens. It's happened to me.
yeah, that is, if I had to simplify it, if you do feel yourself feeling anxiety or nervous, and this could be about anything in your job search, like now posting valuable content on LinkedIn is really a required piece of your search now. It truly is. And you might feel very nervous and anxious about that. I mean, so many people are just terrified of it. And flip it. Instead of thinking about, oh, what are people going to think about me? They're going to judge me. I'm not worthy, and we all feel that I'm not worthy when you're in job search mode, right? Flip it. Think about your audience. Think about the other person. Think about that hiring manager. If any of you have been hiring managers and have had an open position on your team, it's a stressful time because you're trying to do your job while you also have to fill this job and you also have to cover for that. So if you're not doing the job of that open seat, then you have someone else on your team, but it's stressful. It's stressful. So be focused on them and how you can help them, how you can serve them. What is it? Because you have lessons learned. You really do. You may not think it, but you have lessons learned that you can share with others. And if you just help one person, you've made a difference. And that's all you have to do is help one person. You don't have to have 26,000 followers or 25,000 connections. You just have to help one person. So if you can do that, you've made a difference. And it's an easy thing to do. You can totally do it. So,
Christine, if you are still on, Christine and I did the dinner party exercise this last weekend. So, and then she had an interview on Tuesday. Could you unmute and just tell us a little bit about whether that was helpful? Is Christine still with us?
Hopefully she doesn't think you're talking to me.
No, I'm sorry. Christine Antonsen. That's right.
Christine is a popular name.
Yes. Yeah. Well, maybe she's not with us anymore. I'm going to just open up the text that she sent me because I was just so happy about it and so proud of her. She said, got off my first interview conversation with the recruiter for the associate director job. I crushed it. I used storytelling very effectively, spoke with metaphors, and was very confident and compelling. So we don't know yet if she's gotten the job, but she had a fabulous interview. And that was after having psyched herself out and sabotaged herself in the previous 2 or 3 interviews. So it works.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have to get past that self-sabotage because we can easily do that, right? I've been there and it's an awful feeling. You're just so nervous and you're like frozen and you can barely speak. That's not a good feeling. So if you can get past that and not do the self-sabotage, really shine in the interview. Be yourself, not be someone else. Be yourself. Be your bright, authentic self that you are. That's what it's all about. So, cool.
Do we have any other questions then?
I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if we do have any more. Jarrell, do you mind checking LinkedIn one more time just to see if there's anything new from there?
Yeah. No, we don't have question yet.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Well, good. This is great. We really try to be thorough and cover everything. So it's awesome. Well, what do you think, Elizabeth? Should we
I
just,
think we should let people go and give them
Yeah.
a little bit more time in their day before their next appointment.
yeah,
So,
we can let people go. So we hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for attending here and for being present and just really participating. And then we can hang out a little bit longer, if anyone does have questions for us. But yeah, you're free to go. So thank you so much.
don't forget to sign up by tonight, though, to get that $100 discount.
Yeah, definitely sign
Join
up.
us on March 8th.
Yeah, absolutely, because we wanna continue the momentum that you've started today and get it done. Get it done, and you can get it done if you take action today before midnight. You can save $100. So, because we're happy to do that. Cool, awesome. All right.
Okay, so
Lots of good comments in the chat. So this has been great. This has been wonderful. Yeah, just checking the chat.
I tried to follow along on LinkedIn and then my phone rang with a spam call. So, oh well.
That happens. That definitely happens. So that totally happens. So yeah.
Okay. I think we can stop sharing.
Okay. I will stop the share. And we do have a few more people are exiting right now. So, all right, actually here. All right, so I stopped the share.
Okay.
There's still, it looks like there's 8 more people on.
Okay.
So yeah, if anyone has questions, we'll stay here until there's no one else in the room except for Darrell and me and Elizabeth. So if you do have questions.
Rick, SH.
We've got Jessica, we've got Alejandro, yeah, SH. So yeah, so just a few more. So yeah, if any of you guys have questions for us, we'll stay here for you for another 10 minutes. They might have stepped away too from their phones or something.
Mhm.
You know, we have to take our breaks. It's important. So cool. Yeah, and Darrell, you can end the stream on LinkedIn Live. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
I did.
Okay, wonderful. Cool. Good. Fabulous.
Right.
Okay.
All right. It's just
Okay,
us.
it's just us. Okay, good. Thank you. We should
Yeah.
definitely do this again.
Yes, we
Thank
should.
you, Jarrell. I learned some stuff, but definitely figure out how to do this again.
I learned stuff too, so, and I love it.
Do you have the automatic thank you for registering set up on the payment link?
They will get a receipt, but that's about it. So they will get a receipt. They should be getting a receipt in the email,
Okay.
but that's it for now. So
Did you see the follow-up emails that I
yes,
sent?
I did see the follow-up emails. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm working on, for those who sign up for the brand story in the session, our BSI session, I've got some engagement emails to go with them, but I ran it through ChatGPT and I thought, I hate this, and I'm going to look at it again. But I also have set up a quick survey that they can take. I haven't inserted it into a follow-up email, but that's one of the things that I'll send you some possible text. But we need to have the email that sends them the replay.
Yeah, absolutely. So
And then maybe number 2 will be, you know, and we'd love to have you take 3 minutes and answer these questions.
Jarrell, can you do me a favor? Can you, so we've got
Sure.
all the people that registered here. I'm going to share my screen with you. Because, and it
Okay.
okay, so I'll share my screen with you. In Acuity, we have, so see, here's the event. We've got these 48 people that registered under my link, and then these people that registered under Elizabeth's link, okay? So can you create an email list, an active campaign? So and just call it Friday workshop email list. Okay.
How about 3 mistakes
Okay.
email list?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you could do that, Drell, that would be helpful. So, and then I'm sorry, I don't remember, since we did the LinkedIn Live through the company page, do we have the emails of those people or no, we don't have their emails? I think you said we don't, right?
Yeah, we don't, but these people signed up because I messaged them one by one and sent them the link, and I saw some people click the link and sign up directly. So yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. Perfect. Okay.
But we have the list.
We had the what?
You? Okay. Let's see. I can hear me.
I can hear you now.
Okay, good. Yeah. No, I just unplugged the big fancy microphone. Do we have the names of the people who attended on LinkedIn Live?
Yes, we do, because Jarrell, you have that, right?
Yeah, I have those people who says they are interested, and I also have the names of people who watch it, real time on LinkedIn.
Okay. If you make that on Active Campaign, would you please export it to a CSV file and send it to me? Because I have a different CRM.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Jarrell.
Okay.
Awesome. All right.
Okay.
Cool.
So I think let's see, once the replay is ready, and that goes out, then Christine, you and I can take a break and we'll just touch base. As long as they're getting the follow-up emails, then we could touch base about what we do next.
Absolutely. So cool. All right.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to hang up then. Thank you. You know how to find me if you need me.
Okay,
All right.
that's okay. Thank you.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
The recording has stopped.